That ruined Lego. I was so into it.
forgot.
I was so into the Lego movie. I was having the time of my life. But then when they brought it out and showed that it was actually
Into
just
the
like the
real
kids'
world,
imagination, I was like, no, keep it just the Lego movie. Let it be as. I was so upset. And then Will Ferrell comes on, and I'm like, this is garbage. Springtime allergies coming up, so I got the snifflies.
Every
it's
week
okay.
we've been starting with,
Yeah.
sorry, we have sniffles.
But it's okay, I got my snot rag.
Okay, well, I'm glad we've admitted what it is.
Yeah, it's a snot rag. It's
At least
even the
it's
color
like
of
snot
snot.
color. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
So it's all good. It all blends. It's not really snot, though. It's just water. So okay, we gotta stop talking about that. That's really gross.
You know what my sister told me yesterday? That your tears drain
Yes.
down your throat
Yeah.
and you swallow them.
Yeah.
Gross, really gross.
Yeah. That's that little hole. There's like the little hole right in the corner of your eye. That's a drainage system, and it's really gross. Some people say it goes down your throat. Mine comes out my nose, apparently.
Tears?
Water, yeah.
Hmm.
I'm guessing it's tears.
When I was a kid, I somehow convinced myself that when you get a lump in your throat, that's water traveling from your stomach to come then out of your eyes.
What?
You know, like when you're about to cry and you have a lump in your throat?
Yeah, but that's
I
logic is not there.
It wasn't. I was like, that must be like a little traveling car of tears that's coming up.
There is, and I don't remember what it is, but there is a culture somewhere in the world that thinks that when you get sick and you have like a fever and your nose is running and everything, that's worms in your brain wiggling around. They're too hot, and their slime and whatever comes out there at your nose.
That's lovely.
Uh-huh. Hello, welcome back to my attic.
That's really gross.
How you doing, Mary Grace?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
Good.
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 Good. She's chewing on cud or something. I don't know what's going on. Stop.
Chewing on her nails still or something? I don't know.
She's just licking the air.
She's gross.
Yeah, she's gross.
She fits in nicely with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot. Here you go. Here you go.
Whoa! You don't
Look
have
how
to do
pretty
that.
that is.
That's so pretty.
Right?
Wow.
New issue of Bella Grace.
Thank you.
It's green.
Oh my god, my favorite color.
It's so pretty.
Oh my god, I want to look through it right now.
I saw
Thank
it and I was
you.
like, Mary Grace.
It looks like
green.
me. I love green.
Yeah. So there you go.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
On the way here, I passed by a garbage truck, and it was so cute because this little kid with their mom or whatever went out to talk to him. Like, the little kid was so infatuated with it. It was just really cute, and I saw it on the way here, and it just kind of
That's
made my
really
morning.
cute.
It was precious. So, thought I'd mention that. What else is new with you? This thing is really
I want
gross.
her to stop.
Yeah, she's really
I
gross.
can't think. Okay,
Really
give me a
gross.
look. Those are airplane ears. What else is new with me? Probably nothing.
Well, so we went to the game.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about that. That's
So
something.
last Friday we went to a Crunch game, and it was so fun.
It was. You abandoned me. You said that you were going to vote? What on earth?
I voted for them also. I voted for both teams.
Yeah, except you only cheered for...
I clapped!
Uh-huh.
Well, also,
Uh-huh.
I was sitting next to a stranger. I don't know what the vibe was. Because don't you hate when you're sitting next to someone who's rooting for the opposite team?
I was surrounded by the opposite team.
Well,
What do you mean?
I clapped.
I
did a
was
little,
the one
I
and
did
only...
a little yay. I wasn't going to stand up.
I was the one and only Pens fan in that entire section.
Yeah.
So that was a little awkward.
I cheered.
But then the Crunch won. My team did not win, which is fine because I like when the home team wins because the atmosphere when they don't win is just a little
Really bad.
abysmal. So I'm glad that the Crunch won. It was good. Pens won the other night. I don't think, we're not going to make it to the playoffs, but at least they
Nice.
won that. Quit licking my leg! What are you doing? Quit. Ew!
Get rid of her.
No!
Put her somewhere
I
else.
just lowered too much. She's gross, though.
She's like a snake.
Quit licking my... What are you... Ew. Weirdo. But yeah, that was fun. Who's here?
My sister.
Want to join us?
Okay.
Cool.
Doing laundry. Oh, so I asked you what time you're working because her and some friends are going to, she and some friends.
What?
She and some friends are going? What's the correct? Her and some friends?
I don't know, and I don't... Quit licking my leg.
I think it's she and some friends because if you take away some friends, it would be she is going, right?
Sure. I don't know grammar.
They're going.
It's really gross. It's really freaking me out. You're like, dang near licking my crotch. It's so weird. Okay.
Look, now she's gonna bite her own arm. Did she smell?
I like wiped away her spit, but now I got spit on my hand. Ew. Okay. What? Where's she going?
You know how my cousin owns that gelato shop in Clinton?
No.
My cousin owns a gelato shop
Oh,
in Clinton.
cool.
And they're going, but they're going at like 1:30. So that's why I asked.
What does that have to do with me, though?
That's why I was gonna invite you.
Oh. Oh. You'd think I would connect the dots, but no, alas, I did not.
But we'll go another time.
Yeah, thanks anyway. I'm gonna have to get rid of you.
I think she just wants something to do.
Eh. Are you done? Are you gonna go? Okay, we're just gonna sit like this, flocker. She's even closer to the mic now, though. Ew.
You eating?
This is really gross. What was I gonna say? This disturbingly disgusting
Get rid of her.
dog.
Throw her somewhere else. Pick her up and put her on the ground.
No. What was I gonna say though?
Maybe she's trying to like mimic being a human,
I don't know.
and that's what
I
talking
got
looks
dog
like.
hair all over me now, though. Well, this is riveting stuff. I can just. What the heck was I gonna say?
Gelato.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it's next week, but I think the week after that is one of my off Thursdays that I've
Ooh.
decided to start taking every other Thursday. Sniffle, sniffle. Yeah, not
Nice.
next week because I already have someone scheduled, but the week after that, April 11th, I will block off so we can do something.
Yeah, if you want, we can go up to Clinton.
There we go. Booyah.
It's so cool. So my cousin, if you're listening, hi. She might listen. I told her about the podcast, but she started, I think I've told this before, but she started like a gelato cart and would like go to like events and stuff, or like weddings or like XYZ farmers markets. And then she got her own shop in Clinton, and it's really cute and so cool.
Very nice.
You gotta just get rid of her, I think.
I think I do have to get rid of her because she's digging her face under my arm to get at my leg and licking it.
Aww.
So pathetic. Anywho. Yeah, no, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
It's really cool, and I love Clinton.
I'm a fan of gelato as well, so sure.
It's really good.
I can bring some.
I think I'm gonna go with you,
You're gonna go with?
but then we'll go next week.
So.
Do you want to sit over here so you're closer to a microphone?
No. Yeah. So how was your Mamma Mia play? Musical. It's Slade.
No,
It was not icky.
No, I was thinking about last week.
Yeah.
It was good.
Tell us about the experience.
The experience? The first Friday was good. And then
It was good.
this first Saturday was not good. Because Pitt messed up twice.
Pitt messed up a lot.
Yeah, but Saturday they messed up The first time I messed up, they completely dropped the very last beat on Mamma Mia. So we're dancing. It's 5, 6, 7, and there's no beat for 8. So we're all like, it was just really awkward.
Mm.
Like
Oh, God.
it was really obvious. And then the second time, the drummer. I'm not gonna name drop.
Don't name drop him. Is it the same one that did the beat for the...
Yes.
Okay.
We can give backstory after. But he gave us like the downbeat to start singing when it wasn't time, because he was like, oh, I'm not getting a signal from the conductor. I'm just gonna go. So
Oh,
he
geez.
just goes. So then we all start singing, is there a man? Because then we were like, it's not time to go. It was so bad.
You had to stop singing?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
We started like dancing. We go,
Oh,
is
no.
there
Oh, it's like when you pulling them back and you like
Yeah.
start singing in between the dialogue. Oh no.
So we all started
Awkward.
going, and it wasn't time. And I had to go turn around, and I have to like grab another character. So I fully do a 180 to grab them,
No.
and
bro.
it's not time. So I had to just like reset and then
Oh,
just act like nothing happened.
No.
The first show was really good.
The first one was good.
I remember watching when my high school did Fiddler on the Roof. I remember this one girl, she had a line, but she wasn't really paying attention, and so she didn't say her line when she was supposed to, and her line was like what cued the rest of it, and so they're all just kind of standing there awkwardly waiting for her to
Oh,
say her
no.
line, and you could see her look on her face, she was totally zoned out, and the poor guy that was like waiting to say his line right after her, he was like standing there, he's like half turning toward her, like trying to get her attention, and it was just so awkward the
Oh my
whole time.
God.
But that's when I'm like, that's when improv comes into play.
Yeah, I would've said something.
instead of waiting for her to awkwardly say it, like he needed to take her line.
Yeah.
And he was able. Actually, it was really simple. He just needed to say it in one little, different way. But he should have taken it and then moved on rather than just waiting there awkwardly for her to cue it. So bad.
No.
Secondhand embarrassment is so real. Oh my gosh.
So the drummer, is he a teacher at your school?
He retired.
Okay. So they did High School Musical 2. Was it 2 years ago? And there's, I don't know, have you seen High School Musical 2?
Yeah.
Do you know the scene where, like, Sharpay, like, is leaving something and she's like, give me a beat, and then they just, like, drum
Yeah.
and she just walks away? Well, they did that, but he, like, it sounded like a little kid.
Just
And
wagging
drums.
off.
And everybody cheered afterwards, and our friend who's sitting next to us goes, has he ever played drum in his life? It was so bad.
It's so awkward.
But there was also, you know the scene,
I knew you were gonna bring the scene up.
we got to work it out. And they're in the
Mhm.
kitchen, right? And they do,
Mhm.
like, a sequence of, like, pots and pans,
Mhm.
and it's cool. They had all the kids on stage with real pots and pans, just banging
Oh.
them
Oh no.
in no rhyme or reason. It was really
Oh
bad.
no. Have you seen
That was bad.
there's a clip online that takes out the beat of High School Musical over, and it does sound like just pots and pans banging and everything.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
That's what that was.
I remember I was in a middle school play, and this poor kid, he had just no social graces at all. And he's in this musical for the first time. He can't get along with anybody just because he doesn't know how to function like a human being at this point. He got better when we were in high school and everything. But in middle school, he was just a hopeless case. And you know the term open up on stage?
Mm-mm.
Where you're shaking your head, yeah, so you know what it means.
You know when someone's like not facing the audience, like they
Like,
turn too far?
like that video we watched last night of someone we know.
Oh, yeah, but he got told to turn. He got
Okay.
told to not open up.
Oh,
So
he was
To go
supposed to
profile,
face
because
the
they
wrong
were
way.
fighting.
Mm.
So they were like, you know what, just go profile because it looks like really weird when you're just like yelling at each other.
You're supposed to know more than like a 45-degree angle.
Mhm.
You know, so if you're getting too close to like a 90 and your side profile, you're supposed to open up towards the audience. And this kid, he was standing too much to the profile, and so our director said, I'm not going to say his name, but he was like, hey, open up.
Oh no.
And in absolutely no context whatsoever, he mimes opening up a door. Oh my God.
That's so stupid.
It's coming from me who's the most like oblivious person on the face of the planet, and I'm like, dude, what? And one of the biggest rules is if you forget a prop or something, you do not pretend that you have that prop. Because then it just makes it completely obvious that you do not have that prop. And so the fact that he's miming opening a door, like, where are you getting this from? Like, where did that... Anyway, that just, again, secondhand embarrassment is just so for real.
Instinct.
Yeah, and everyone harped on that poor kid for quite a while. Just open up, okay.
I hate when in musicals they have to start singing before the music comes in. Like if there's like dialogue and then one person just starts singing. I hate that. I think it's so awkward. You know what I mean?
No.
Like say we're talking and we're getting an argument and all of a sudden I'm like...
Break out into song.
And then I start singing, but there's not music yet. And then the music comes in after like that first line or whatever.
I guess that's the cue.
I don't like it.
No? Okay. To each their own, I guess.
I don't like it.
No. I got stuck on stage one time when I was tech crew. I think I talked about this one time. We were doing Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella, and my fashion sense was in dire need of assistance.
Wait, are you supposed to just wear black when you're on...
This was... You are supposed to wear black, but this was in middle school or high school or something. I was tech crew for it, and we were just... Was it one of the matinee shows? Something or other. So I wasn't wearing full black. But I had this... I had this horrendous, like, crocheted net of a shirt on.
Oh my god.
It was so bad. Oh my god. But anyway, so it's this crocheted something or other. And as tech crew, for the show, I was supposed to bring out a wrought iron bench. The thing is heavy, clumsy, whatever. But the filigree on it was, like, open. And so my net of a shirt got caught on one of the hooks of the filigree, like, ornamentation. I don't know what you want to call it, but on this wrought
So
iron
many big
bench.
words.
I don't know. I got caught on it. And so, I mean, when it's blackout, you can still see because there's usually backlights and everything for the tech crew. So people can see. I'm like knelt down by this bench and I'm not moving. And people are probably like, what is going on? And I'm like yanking at my shirt trying to get this stupid thing off. And I'm panicking thinking like, oh my god, what if the lights come up? Like they don't bring the lights up until
Abandon
it's
the
clear.
shirt.
But I'm like...
Skip and run.
Oh, but it was so embarrassing because like, you know, your transitions are supposed to be like 30 seconds at the absolute max. I'm pushing like 45 seconds at this point, and I'm like, oh my god, please someone murder me. It was awful.
Did you get out? Did you get free?
I finally got free, but
At what
yeah,
cost?
I caught an earful from my director.
Aww.
That shirt never saw the light of day again.
That's probably for the better.
But then also, one of the times we had a show after school one time, I was in shorts, and everyone knows I'm pale as a ghost, and so when it's blackout and everything, my legs are basically neon. And during the whole scene where Cinderella transformed like her dress and everything, the fairy godmother's doing her thing, we had this whole, it was actually fantastic. We had a dry ice machine doing the fog all across the stage, and then we dropped the lights and did a backlight, and so it was more actually lit up neon.
Mm-hmm.
And so the carriage was all glowing and everything. And then my job was to take a pumpkin and basically just kind of gallop across the stage with this pumpkin to show the transition from a pumpkin to a carriage. Problem was, like I said, with the backlight and shining on my neon white legs, I was like, I can't, everyone's going to see my legs. And it's only supposed to, you're only supposed to see the pumpkin, not the person behind the pumpkin. So I had to take black cloak from the wardrobe and like tie it around my waist and shuffle myself across the stage to keep people from seeing my legs. And then some girl I think she was in the cast, but she started the hashtag on Twitter or something, Danielle in the cloak. And I'm like, what is happening?
Oh my
right now? So yeah, the adventures of being tech crew, the things you gotta do for
That sounds fun.
for the sanctity of the show. You gotta jump through hoops and throw away parts of your wardrobe. Jesus. Anyway.
Can you imagine if you had to just, like, take it off?
And it's just hanging there.
Yeah. And run away without it.
I want a tank
It's
top
so
underneath
funny.
of it.
No, I know,
but
but like it would just be funny to like kind of see you just like abandoning your shirt and running away.
yeah, that's it. Man, I miss those days. I got caught out on stage one time when we were doing Little Mermaid. I had to bring out Ariel's grotto,
Love that word.
and so I slide it out. And just as I'm about to run backstage, they bring the lights up, music. I'm stuck behind the grotto.
Did you
And
stay
so-
there?
Yeah, I had to stay there behind the set. I was out on stage, but just behind the makeshift grotto and everything. And so, my other tech crew mates on the sidelines, they're, looking at me. I'm just doing song and dance of my own back there on stage.
That's funny.
And then another one of the tech crew, when she was pushing out the grotto, it was a live transition, and so you can see the tech crew, and that's when they're singing and dancing, and things are shifting as it's happening. And she totally broke, and she looked at the audience, and she like did a little leg kick and like drew so much attention to herself just for the fun of it. My director ripped into her. Oh my god, he was
Oh,
like,
wow.
"You're ruining the show," and I'm like, "That was hilarious." Anywho. But yeah.
What do you think was like the worst thing that went wrong?
Probably the pit messing up. I
The pit's so bad
yeah,
at CBA.
they're really bad. But War Dancing Queen, the first Friday, it was our first time performing with the backdrop because the backdrop got finished and put up the day before because we were like, we weren't going to have a backdrop, and then we were like, we need a backdrop. So they put it up. It's our first time doing it with the backdrop. Shouldn't be an issue. It's just a backdrop. It was like attached only at the top, so the bottom was kind of not directly on the wall at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
but it's right next to the door, like entrance.
Mm-hmm.
So I open the curtain to like do the number. I open it and I whack myself in the face of the backdrop, which is like thick canvas and like 12 layers of paint. And then, like, I was the leader, so I'm, like, getting whacked in the face, and then everyone's, like, held up for a split second, and then I just had to act like nothing happened. I had, like, tears.
Wait, that was the first night?
That was the first night.
I didn't even notice.
I just played it off.
You played it off really well.
I got hit in the face so hard.
I know. I noticed like a few times people coming close to not the backdrop, but like the side drop.
Like the side curtains?
No, but there was like pictures or something up. I don't know.
Oh, the, like, windows.
Yeah.
Whatever. The shutters.
Yeah. I saw people coming close to them when they were dancing.
Yeah.
I had one of the backdrops that they were like large foam backdrops with wooden slats to keep them upright. We had to slide one of those out onto the stage, but there was previous props from one of like Alice in Wonderland or something. There was a key hanging up in the, I don't know, up in the rafters or whatever, that they never bothered taking down because it's, it's out of the way, whatever. But the top of the backdrop got caught on that key and ripped, because it was like foam or something, and it ripped one of the prongs of the key off. And I looked up and just boom, it got smacked. It just
no.
fell right on my face. And it's like one of those like dense foams and everything. It hurt quite bad. But I saved that piece, and I actually had the rest of the cast and crew sign.
That's cool.
As my keepsake
That's
afterwards.
really cool.
Oh my.
I hit the shutter.
You
Because
did.
I was told to go more stage right, because for the wedding scene,
Mm-hmm.
for our lines, like, the girls were too clumped than the guys. So he goes, like, move more stage right. So I'm like, okay. Then I have to keep the lines, like, nice, because I'm on the end.
Yeah.
So everyone starts taking really big steps. And
Yeah.
I'm like, so then I hit the wall, and then I just look over at Alexa like, stop moving. And I saw it, like, start to shake up.
I imagine the whole stage just falls down.
Oh my god. I was a bird girl in Seussical the Musical in middle school. You know, Horton Hears a Who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
That was
which one? Which bird girl? There's two.
It was just like cast. I wasn't
Oh,
a specific.
you-
I was a
you were
bird
one
girl
of the
number
bird
3.
girls.
Yeah, I was one of the bird girls.
Pumpkin number 1.
We had the best costumes, I will say. It was awesome. But after one of the numbers, we're like flapping our bird wings and everything, and we're walking out backwards. Problem is, my heel got caught on one of the risers. I hit the deck on my butt on the riser, And then I'm the last one out. And I'm like, everyone's watching me do this. And so I just, on my butt, I do a 180, get up and walk off the
Perfect.
stage. It's like, that's
That
not
was a
how
good
that was
save.
supposed to happen. No, that was terrible. But then at one of the practices we had, I was off on stage. I went off the stage on one side, and then I had to run around backstage to get to the other side for the next entrance for the next number. I only had a few seconds to do that, and so I had to like sprint backstage, and they were about to start, and so the problem was I'm sprinting to the other side of the stage, and the next song is like a nice slow, more of a ballad type of thing, but I'm rushing, and so I burst through the curtain like it's nobody's business, and then I just like abruptly like stop and then like slowly walk out onto the stage. My director was like, "Who was that burst through and I was, yeah, he called me out on that one. That was embarrassing. Yeah.
Man,
So I had to
director means business.
Oh, we hated him.
No.
He was awful. He actually turned me in to the office one time because my senior year, when I was doing tech crew, we had a matinee show. We had a couple matinee shows, and there was time in between for us to have lunch. And rather than going to the cafeteria, they were ordering pizza for all of us. I didn't really want pizza that day. And so me and a friend of mine decided to leave campus, go to McDonald's, and buy, at the time, they were doing family boxes. For like $10, you got like 2 Big Macs, a bunch of fries, a 10-piece chicken nugget. Like, you got a whole bunch of food for not a lot of money. And we were like, we're just going to go pick up a bunch of family boxes and bring it back for everybody. Problem is, you're not supposed to drive your car off the lot in the middle of the day. We were like, we're going to do it anyway. We leave, we come back, we bring everyone food. But in the time that we did that, we missed the note. Because in between shows and everything afterwards, he'll give us notes for things that we need to fix. And we missed that. And he had notes for us. And we weren't there. And he was mad. And so he turned us into the office. But the office was like, they're seniors. They've never been in trouble before. We don't care.
Nice.
He was so mad that we didn't get in trouble. He was awful. Yeah. Show must go on.
I've never been in anything.
Boring.
I think I was telling you how we did like just the first song of Joseph.
Yeah.
For some reason, we just did like one song. And I was like an extra. I had a sheep, I think, holding it. And I was wearing like a sheet. And they're like, pretend to be talking. And then Joseph walks in, pretend it's Justin Bieber, because we were supposed to go crazy.
Oh my gosh. We had a song in choir one time that was a medley of foods. We're singing about food. And I don't know. But
Yikes.
at one point in the song, we were talking about some kind of gross food. And we were supposed to stop singing and yell, yuck. The girl behind me was not playing around. She put her heart and soul, body and mind into that. Yuck! I told my mom before she came, I was like, listen, you're not allowed getting mad at me. I'm going to break. I'm going to start laughing. And you're going to know why. Because everybody heard her. She should have done it by herself. She didn't need the rest of us. She had that covered. But she was right behind me. And I couldn't. I totally broke character on that one. That was bad.
One time,
Screaming yuck.
I went to some like expo or something at ESM, and they had like I don't even know what it was, like a choir, but they were singing like kind of like jazzy something. I don't know. I don't know what I was at, but everybody was singing, but this one girl was like bobbing her head.
Really going at it?
But she stood out because there was like 16 faces, and one of them in the middle is like moving around. She was really into it.
We did a Lion King medley. We went through all the songs of Lion King. And during Scar's Be Prepared, the line tenacity, whatever, our director, the same guy who directs everything else there, so our choir director, he said like to put emphasis on it, to really, bring out the syllables. And I don't know what happened. But when I said tenacity at one point, like my voice caught on her, so it was like tenacity. And the guy standing beside me,
You sound like Scar.
he just like slowly turned around to look at me, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my god, I would crumble.
Couldn't keep a straight face after that one. Thankfully, that was only during practice, but I had a in one of our choir concerts, I actually got a role. It was the kind of like an introduction to each of the, because again, it was like we do a lot of medleys apparently, but like a medley of different songs throughout the decades, just to kind of show the differences between the type of music throughout decades.
Mm-hmm.
And before each new section of the songs, there was like a little blurb of an introduction that he held auditions for. I ended up getting it, and I practiced so much, but then stage fright got to me and I froze, and it was so embarrassing. Luckily, I don't think people realized that I had actually frozen, because it was one of those things that if I didn't do it, it wasn't a huge deal.
Right.
You know, it wasn't like I was interrupting anything because the music was still going. I was just kind of speaking over it to introduce the next section. But I froze at one point, and I'm looking at him, like trying to get the cue from him to figure out what the next line is and everything, and he wasn't doing it. And then afterwards, people were like, "Oh, Danielle, you did so good." The few parts that I actually did. Get it together, please. It was so gross.
Sorry, thank
kidding.
you.
Bless you.
It says you.
Yeah.
Snot rag around your neck.
I do what I gotta do, okay? But yeah, no, that was really embarrassing. I was really upset afterwards, and my parents got mad at me because they didn't understand that I messed up. They didn't know I messed up because it didn't look like I did, but I knew I did, so I was really upset, and they were like, "Why are you being such a brat?" Blah, 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 and I'm like, I wanted to go home and cry so bad. I was like, please stop yelling at me. I'm already upset. So yeah.
When I was in, I think 9th grade, we had to, like, my English class had to perform Romeo and Juliet, but we, like, broke it into groups. So, like, each group, like, the story went chronologically, but, like, different people, like, would take over different parts of it. And so, it was, like, Maya was in my group, and my best friend, Gracie, and I was Juliet, and it's this scene where, like, Juliet's dad is, like, yelling at her. I don't even really remember why. But we would rehearse, and, like, I would be, like, on my knees, like, begging, and my best friend Gracie was pretending to be my dad. Like, is, like, pointing finger, like, yelling at me, like, that kind of thing. Well, we rehearsed it so many times, and then we're performing it in front of the class. It was also videotaped. And she, like, took the liberty of beating me up in front of the class. She, like, pushed me to the ground and is, like, pushing me while I'm on the ground. I, like, back into some desks. I'm, like, trying not to laugh. I have tissues, pretending to cry, and I'm laughing into the tissues. But she got it done.
Oh my gosh.
She won an award for, like, best actress in the class or something.
That reminds me of two separate things. One, in elementary school, we kind of did the same thing. There was this play in a book that we were doing, and then occasionally people would switch out the same characters, but the show would continue on.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know what it was just one of those plays in your school book. And it was about a bunch of aliens coming to Earth and being absolutely fascinated with thermos bottles. I don't know. And at one point, one of the lines I just remember being, thermos bottle, thermos bottle, thermos bottle.
That's so stupid.
But then I forgot where my cue was to switch out, and so I accidentally ended up taking someone else's section that they were supposed to do, and I walked back, and the look on her face was just like,
Aww.
and I'm like, I'm so sorry. She's like, it's whatever. I'm like, I'm sorry. But then also, when I was in college, my first semester in fall semester, blah, 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 we did this play called The Miss Firecracker Contest. God-awful play. Just terrible. I played Elaine Rutledge, who was a 32-year-old alcoholic, questioning whether she needs to leave her husband. She's cheating on him with this random guy and everything, and there's balloons, and there's pink, and his whatever. Anyway, the whole point is I think she was my niece, supposed to be my niece, that she's in this Miss Firecracker contest, and she goes out, she performs, she does terrible. She's awful. She comes backstage, back to her dressing room, which was actually just an extra stall in a barn because they didn't have extra room for her or whatever. And she's got this big hoop skirt on, and she's supposed to go sit down on a bucket, and she's crying, and she's all upset and everything. She's supposed to sit down on this bucket to continue her weep session, but her hoop skirt...
Oh no.
I'm picturing it all over again. Me and another person are supposed to be, crying for her and so upset for her and everything and trying to make her feel better, but her hoop skirt pushed the the bucket out from underneath.
You're laughing at this poor girl's expense. That's
She just
horrible.
hits the deck, dude.
Oh no!
Just boom.
That's so sad.
And like I am right now, I just burst out into laughter, and I'm trying to make it look like I'm crying rather than laughing, because we're supposed to be sad for her. But we all just stop. We're all laughing. We're all trying to recover and make it look like crying and everything. Oh my god, it was so freaking funny, and the whole audience knew what happened. Like everyone was laughing about it, and it was just so freaking funny. But then afterwards, we go backstage and it's intermission. And our director, who is just the most vile of human beings, oh my gosh, I can't stand him. He comes back and has the audacity to rip into this girl, who we made a mistake, and it was freaking funny. Yeah, it was freaking funny. Comes backstage and has the audacity to say, "You are ruining this show. If you don't get
Oh
it
my
together,
God,
I'm
it's
going to fail you."
not
Because,
that
of course, we signed up
serious.
for credit because it was college. We signed up for credits for it. He was like, "If you don't get it together, if you don't actually blah, 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 I'm going to fail you guys, blah, blah, blah." And I was livid. I was so irritated. You come into the women's dressing room when we're changing and then have the audacity to rip into the girl for a simple mistake, a very hilarious mistake, which I think made the show so much better because the show was just terrible. I was so mad, and I channeled that into the next scene that I had, which I was yelling at this other guy about, and I was like, that's not acting. That was me being truly irritated. Oh my gosh. It was a good time, though. That was a good time.
Ah, memories.
Yeah. Not with the director. He stunk, but...
Someone dropped their chapstick the other night at your show. Do you know about that? You were on stage.
You told me about.
I told you?
Yeah.
Oh, someone dropped his chapstick, and then it was there for like the whole number on the ground.
How distracting.
And then the boys come in. There's a scene where, is this in like when you go to see it? Yeah,
Yeah,
like when you go to
it's in
see it,
everything.
they come out with the
Yeah.
flippers on. Like all the guys come out in a conga line with flippers, like swimming flippers.
Uh-huh.
And they're like going around, the number's ending, and I see them all trying to kick the chapstick off stage with the flippers, but you can't kick with a flipper, you'll just trip. So like one kid kicks it, the other kid kicks it.
Is
It's
that
like
the Don't Go Wasting My Emotions?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
love that song.
it moved very minimally, and then someone just picked it up.
Don't go wasting your emotions. Okay. What was I gonna say?
I wonder if that one's recorded. I wonder if we
Oh
can
yeah, you
watch
should
that.
check.
I
It was
hope-
from Saturday night.
I hope-
with the
I hope
chapstick.
there's-
Best day to you, best to you. I was in another middle school play. Again, atrocious. Why do I always have the worst luck with the shows? It was Dear Edwina. And this whole thing was supposed to be this girl opens up like an advice column out of her garage. And she has, people send her questions and advice, And so she puts on a whole show in her garage to give song number advice.
That's really silly.
And it's just ridiculous. Somebody asked her, she was like, I don't know how to set the table. Can you help me, Edwina? She's like, absolutely. So we have a whole song and dance. Fork, knife, spoon,
Oh, I
fork,
found
knife,
it.
spoon, fork, knife, spoon, fork, knife, spoon.
You found the chapstick? Nice. We'll have to watch
Nice.
it after.
Sorry. Fork, knife, spoon. Fork,
Yeah.
knife, spoon.
And we're all on the stage dancing with big foam fork, knife, and spoon. I was a spoon. It was a terrible show. I got home
I've
and
never
my-
even heard of that.
Yeah, good, because it's awful. I got home and my parents were like, that was not good. I'm like, thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. Oh, it was awful. It was so bad.
Have you seen Sister Act?
10 million years ago, yes.
I like that one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I don't like anything like. Well, I don't know. Like, I don't really love like Elf
I hate Elf.
I hated it.
or like.
I can't
Shrek
stand
is
Will
okay.
Ferrell. I cannot stand Will Ferrell.
Oh, you don't like the movie Elf?
Yeah, no, I hate Elf.
That took a turn because I was not talking about the movie. I was talking about the musical.
Oh, there's a musical? Oh,
That's why I don't like
that's
it.
terrible.
I was in it.
Wait, I love Elf, the movie.
Oh, and I hate it.
Oh
I
my
hate it.
god.
Hate it. You know what? I just don't like Will Ferrell.
Why?
He irks me to my deepest
He was
core.
in the
He
Barbie
just-
movie. Did he irk you in the
Yes.
Barbie movie? Oh man,
I just can't.
that's too bad.
And it was fine, and he was only in the Barbie movie a little bit, so it was like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever, I can try to ignore him. But anytime I see his face, it's just annoying. But the entirety of Elf is him, and I'm like, I can't.
I think I've only seen him in Elf. And
Lego movie.
That ruined Lego. I was so
Oh,
into it.
I
I was so
forgot.
into the Lego movie. I was having the time of my life. But then when they brought it out and showed that it was actually
Into
just
the
like the
real
kids'
world,
imagination, I was like, no, keep it just the Lego movie. Let it be as. I was so upset. And then Will Ferrell comes on, and I'm like, this is garbage.
I have to go home.
Did you
I
know
have
it
to-
was him the whole time? As the voice?
His voice.
I don't remember. I don't know if I knew that or not.
Because
Speaking of voices,
obvious. Oh, he's Megamind. I like Megamind.
though, never seen it. Ah! Never. I think I was outside of my realm of Disney when that came out.
It's not Disney.
Is it
Boom,
not?
it's DreamWorks.
They got it.
DreamWorks.
What were you
Either
going to
way.
say, speaking of?
So last week I said Chet instead of Che. I'm stupid. His
Who's
name is
Chet?
Che. What?
Chet, who?
No, it's not him. It's not Chet.
Who's
Okay,
Che?
so one of the questions through the Avatar thing that we were
Oh.
doing, you said you mentioned Zhang Zhang, and in my head I just started picturing Che, and then I was like really confused for a second, and then I said, oh, I thought you meant Chet. His name is not Chet.
It's Che.
It's Che.
Hmm.
And fun fact, along with that correction, sorry about that, he is voiced by the same guy that voiced Raymundo from Rocket Power. Pardon? Y'all don't know Rocket Power? That is another cartoon to this day I would watch as an
hoping
adult.
you would know what it was.
Rocket Power is
League?
amazing. No, it's these kids on like in California, one of the coasts of California or something, and skateboarding and surfing and just sports and fun, and Raymundo is their dad, who they call Raymundo instead of dad.
That's fire. I like that.
If that was my name, I'd have my kids.
There's Uncle Tito
I'm just
and
thinking of Dinotopia right now. What was the kid's name? Chex?
Checks, yeah.
Chex. No, was it Chex?
Why are you checking your pulse?
I don't know. Bro.
I'm not. I was itching and then I got
Oh.
distracted.
I thought it was
Am I
Checks.
still alive?
Checks.
What are you talking about?
We watched this horrible movie that we used to watch all the time when we were little. It's called Dinotopia,
Quest for the Ruby Sunstone.
Quest for the Ruby Sunstone. It's just this cartoon about dinosaurs.
Have
and
you seen Land
humans.
Before Time? The
Mm.
OG of dinosaur movies? Really?
I'm not into dinosaur movies.
But you need to watch Land Before Time because it's the pinnacle of. Oh my gosh,
I can't believe you don't like Elf.
I can't stand Elf.
That's so sad.
You know
It's
what hurt
such a
my
good
feelings? Did I talk about this already?
movie. Hmm.
There's this TikToker that goes around and she reviews movies. She goes and sees like every movie.
You did.
I did talk about that.
Yes.
I was offended.
Talk about it again.
I'm not offended. I don't know. But yeah, she said that Journey to Bethlehem was so bad.
What
Which
did you
is terrible.
think? You saw it. You thought it was bad?
That's kind of bad.
Well, it's okay, but it's like it's not good in like
But the music, like, is the music good, but it's like the movie's corny kind of thing?
yeah, the music is
Kinda.
amazing. The music is amazing, hands down. Listen to the soundtrack on itself, and it's so good. The movie, it is cheesy and corny and silly, but it's not supposed to not be.
Hmm.
It's
It's
for
not
what
supposed
it
to be,
is.
like, moving. It's supposed to, yeah.
It's
supposed
just
to be, like,
supposed to be
funny.
fun and just
Yeah.
it is. It's silly and goofy and fun and it's like whatever. So for what it is, I loved it. Now, if you want to compare it to actual good movies, no, it's garbage. But like she was comparing to like actual
Yeah.
like legitimate. I'm like, no, you have to take it for what it is, and it was actually so good for what it is. So yeah, that hurt my feelings. That yeah, I love that. I love it. I'm obsessed with it actually. So
The main part that made me mad was everyone had different accents. Like, they had the dad from Spy Kids in there, and bro's Spanish. And he was
the guy
supposed
from
to be King
Spy
Herod.
Kids.
The dad from Spy
The
Kids?
guy- that's how you get
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas. This guy from Spy. Oh my
The
gosh.
dad. He's the dad.
He's not some guy. He's the dad.
He's the one who makes the brains, right?
He's
Yeah.
Zorro.
Brain.
The
Zorro.
third brain.
Oh my gosh. That entire movie is
From
a
Spy
fever
Kids.
dream. Spy
I
Kids
love
is a
it.
fever
Spy Kids.
dream.
I love
No,
it.
but they
walking
pull him up,
thumbs.
and I was like,
Alan
why is
Cummings.
he in here? Not like, why is he in here, but like, he's supposed to be like Jewish. Why is he Spanish? And then
Yeah.
they had like British people,
He
and then
is-
they had Americans. I was like, there's just too many.
He is 100% not Jewish. King
Yeah.
Herod, he is
Roman.
he
or
is
whatever.
Roman, yeah.
But like, why
Still.
Spanish? It
yeah.
didn't line up.
But with his, like, natural accent?
And then his son was British.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, with his natural accent.
That's silly.
I was like, if you're gonna
Wait,
do it, it's
what-
gotta make
They
sense.
weren't going for continuity. They weren't going for actual historical accuracy or anything.
What
They
else
were
is
just
he
going for
in?
fun.
I've never seen him in anything else. I don't
He's
think.
Zorro.
From... Oh.
From Zorro. What do you mean, from what? He's Zorro. Oh, he's in so much.
I've only seen him in Spy Kids.
That's harsh.
Love Spy Kids.
But no, then the guy who plays Antipater, Herod's son, he is the singer, one of the brothers in For King and Country.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then freaking Lecrae is in it. He's a rapper.
Oh, you told me this, but I don't
Yeah.
know who he is.
Lecrae, he's like a Christian rapper or whatever, and he's in that. He plays Gabriel. And the killer part about it is when he comes to Mary, to give her the news that she's carrying Jesus, he appears in the house. She's sleeping, so she doesn't know he's there yet. And he's like psyching himself. He's like, okay, we gotta say this. And he's like psyching himself up to deliver this news, and everything was so cute and so funny. And so when he's like ready to go about it, he floats for a second and he starts like moving forward. And then also he bonks his head on the top
The door
on
frame.
the top of the door frame. And I'm like, that's the silliness of this movie. That's just like the angel Gabriel bonking his head on the door frame. Come on, that movie was great. I don't care what people say. I loved it.
Why did you see it? You saw it with Dad?
His
just, like,
dad wanted
randomly?
to see it because it was Jesus, and I said
Oh.
yes because it has Milo Manheim in it.
Who's that?
That's the guy who played Joseph.
He's cute. He's
He's
really
so
cute.
cute.
What's he? Do I know him from anything?
He's in Zombies.
Is he that guy? The
The main.
main guy with the green hair? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't love him.
He's so cute though.
I have him in my locker.
Oh my god.
That's weird.
It was a
Do
gift.
people
I
do
didn't
that?
put him there myself.
I
Sophie.
feel like that's such an old thing to do, like have a celebrity.
I remember my
celebrity
friend had
locker.
Justin Bieber posters.
That's so weird.
This is so weird.
No, Sophie for my birthday. She her and I obsess over him. So she put him in my locker.
That was
and
nice of her.
now, yeah, she put 3 photos. One's like him in a hot tub, shirtless. I don't really know. One's him in a mirror, shirtless. I'm like, girl. So I put him back up this year because it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Is
But
he
now-
like ripped or anything? Because he just looks kind of skinny scrawny.
Yeah, I would get scrawny vibes from him. Yeah.
Yeah. scrawny vibes.
He's good.
Yeah.
Anyways,
He's good.
He's
He's
good.
good.
He's good. He's solid.
But Josh and I share a locker because Josh couldn't get his combination, so we share a locker. So people think it's his locker.
That's funny. That's good.
And then in his locker, we figured out his combination, so we have a picture of Danny DeVito. But we still share a locker. We just have a spare locker with Danny DeVito in it.
That's so funny.
Sharing lockers. I don't think anybody did that when I was in high school.
Mm-mm.
People got into my locker.
I would always jam my
Yeah.
locker. I would put like a pencil into the
Yeah.
so I didn't have to do my combination because I'm like, what are people gonna steal? People
School
would
books take
No
a
thanks.
hair tie or something and
I
like
do the hair tie.
wrap it around. Don't they get mad? Do they get mad at you if they?
Yes. Okay. So
Why do they care?
Ella, as a joke, went around last year and just left everyone's lockers open, but they were all jammed.
That's horrible.
So administration came and took out all the pencils and the hair ties and unjammed them. So the next morning, all of the lockers were unjammed. So everyone's pissed and they're like, "Who would do this?" And Ella's just there
Oh my
It was
god!
because of me.
I feel so bad. I wouldn't tell anybody I did it.
so.
I could never remember my combination, and I would always mess it up. So I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. If someone wants to steal something, I don't have anything worth stealing. So
I never used my locker.
I had to in between my classes because I tried to carry all my books. We weren't allowed bags or anything. Yeah, our school it was a fire hazard. As if someone's gonna leave their purse or their bag or something on the ground when there's a fire. I'm sorry.
Wait,
No, you can
what?
take your stuff with you.
It's a fire hazard to have a backpack.
Yeah. So that's what our school said. Because if you have a bag and you put it on the floor and there's a fire and everyone's rushing out, you trip over the bag and you die. That's it. You
That's
die.
natural selection.
Instant death.
That's stupid.
As if we're not going to pick up our stuff. Like, we weren't even allowed having purses. Book bags are like, whatever. Nobody cares about book bags. But purses, we weren't allowed to have. It was a fire hazard. And I'm like,
That's so
you
silly.
better believe I'm picking up my purse before I hightail it out of here.
Yeah.
No, the thing that always killed me was that if we always had the fire drills, the tornado drills, and like the lockdown drills, active shooter, and you would have to walk down to like the stadium, and everyone would be like for bomb drills and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They have you walk as if anyone's going to stick around and follow. If there's
Go
like
home.
if
Run
there's like
home
an
if
active
you
shooter,
can.
if there is a bomb threat or something, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I ain't sticking around. I ain't hightailing myself to the stadium and sitting there because the bomb's probably planted there instead.
Also, why would you all congregate together? Like, it
Scatter.
feels like you're playing hide and seek and you all head in the same spot.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Like,
Rule
they
number
found
one.
of you, now they found all of you also.
In an active threat, rule number 1: scatter.
Yeah.
Scatter. Oh
Right.
my gosh.
Why would you have everybody gather into one
Yeah.
small
Well,
area?
man, this took a really
That's
morbid
so
turn.
stupid,
But
though.
the sad part about it is you're doing all these drills and you're teaching the people who are doing the bad things
Where you're gonna be
where
hiding.
you're gonna be, how to go about doing most destructive damage. Like you're not
Yeah.
helping anything with these drills. You're just teaching. It's just So scatter.
Did you
Can't
have
do
to
anything
do
about that.
tornado drills in Ohio?
Yeah.
Like, did you guys have to like get into like a
Yeah.
and everybody's butt cracks would be out?
Yes.
I hated that.
Yep, we would all be lined up in the hall, and the teachers would walk up and down, and everyone's just like yanking their, yanking their shirts down.
Yeah.
It's so
What do you call
awkward.
that position? Like you're like fetal, but
Yeah.
face down,
Yeah.
and everybody's butt crack would be out.
Yeah,
hate that.
that's I don't know.
So stupid.
What do you think about the theory that if you're in a plane crash, that
Yeah.
you're supposed to like put your head down in like
Between your knees or something, and that actually snaps your neck so you die, so they can't sue the.
Do you believe that?
Sure.
I believe it.
I believe it.
Yeah. Because I heard also that if you get into a plane crash or something and you do sue, 100% guarantee you will win that lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And so they want to just nix you for that one. Well, I believe it.
I want to ask like a survivor of a plane crash. What were you doing? Did you have your head between your knees? That sounds.
I saw.
Did you jump as it hit the ground?
That's so stupid. You think that works? You have to time it just right and you can just jump? I feel like hitting the ceiling would probably kill you faster than hitting the ground.
You
with
have
the
to jump
plane.
horizontal. You just like, and then it just like your whole
Do a
body.
toe touch, like.
What if you plank on the chairs?
There you go. No, I did see. There's a new engineering design of planes for if a plane is going down, the whole belly of the plane where all the passengers are
Mhm.
will drop out and parachutes, and so you'll just kind of coast down the whole plane.
That's
And-
cute.
But then I saw somebody did the perspective of the pilot turn around,
Nothing.
he's just crying as he goes down to the cockpit.
That's so funny. Oh man.
Oh my gosh, I'm crying.
Yeah, I want to ask someone who survived. Well, they say if you're in a falling elevator to just lay super flat, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You try to like spread out so that the impact is like
It doesn't snap your spine,
Spread.
collapse, and go
you're
accordion
supposed to
style
jump.
spine.
Yeah.
I get that.
Did you see
You want to
what the
disperse your.
bridge in Maryland?
Yeah.
I always think like
Yeah.
if that was me, like I hope I would grab my phone. Like that sounds so stupid, but like would I think to grab my phone if I was sinking and I survived?
Well, I'm guessing probably it was one of those things that the bridge collapsed on top of a lot of the cars,
Mm.
and I don't think you're getting out of that.
But if I did,
There's like a rescue. I think you would have under other concerns.
Why would you want your phone?
I just feel like I would want it.
To die?
I feel
No,
like
I'm saying if I can get out and survive it, I would hope I would just like grab it. Because that'd just be, if I live and then I'm like, oh, then I have to get a new phone.
Bruh.
That would suck.
bruh.
That would suck worse.
I think you'd have other concerns.
Man, I know all about that. If your car starts going underwater, you're supposed to roll your windows down
Yeah.
We were talking
for
about it
the pressure.
in anatomy, and we were like just talking about like survival tactics. And Dot goes, "On your way down, start rolling that window." She's going
Yeah.
as you're falling. She's like, "I would be pushing that button."
You're supposed to, right?
Yeah.
So the water
No, but
pressure
she's
can't hold the
thinking- we were
doors
like,
in.
Doc, what if you were in one of those cars? And she'd be like,
Oh.
"As I'm falling, windows
Roll the windows
going
down. Yeah, exactly.
Unbuckle your seatbelts and windows
Yeah.
down.
But she wasn't thinking like, oh, I don't know what. She was like, as I'm following.
That's funny.
I always had this when I was really little. I didn't understand how quickly car accidents happened, and so in my head, my mom,
Just steer out of the way.
yeah, well, no, it was one of those things. I thought car accidents were always long and drawn out, and like your car is spinning out of control for a length of time. And I always told myself, well, if I ever start getting into a car accident, I'll just unbuckle my seatbelt for if I'm sitting in the front. I'll crawl into the back and then buckle up back then.
Why?
Because I thought car accidents were these, like I said, long and drawn out and like spinning out. I thought I would have plenty of time to crawl my way back to the back seat and
Oh, I
buckle up
see. You're
back there.
safer back there?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Be back where it's safer rather than being in the front seat. Because I didn't realize that accidents happen in 0.02 seconds.
You get found at the accident, there's no driver. How did this happen?
You're like asleep in the backseat.
In like a car seat.
Yeah, you're
Buckled
like
in.
pretending to be asleep so someone will carry you out.
I almost choked myself out with the seatbelt one time.
Oh, great.
I was buckled in the back seat, and I don't know, I was daydreaming about something, and I just was starting to mess with the seatbelt, and I wrapped it around my neck, and it's like with the braking system, it wouldn't come out, and I'm like, I'm
Oh
gonna
my
die.
god.
I couldn't get
You
it.
do want to go out the same way you came in. Did we talk about this 2 weeks ago? Man.
Oh my god!
How did
Forgot
you
about
accidentally do
I did. I accidentally strangled myself.
When was this?
Which one was that?
Yeah, I was really little when it happened. Me and my brother were in the back seat, going on some long trip or something, daydreaming, and
What'd you do, Unbuckle?
I think because it wasn't coming out like
I hate that mechanism.
Well, I mean, it's
Stupid.
what saves a lot of people's lives, but it also almost took mine.
I hate when it's like too sensitive.
Yeah.
You're just trying to put it on and it's like,
Yep. Come on. Oh my gosh. I was laughing too much. I started tearing up. Now my nose is watering. That's so gross. I'm not fit to be human.
you are full of fluids.
That's gross.
You ever been in a car accident?
Nothing like life net. Nothing like that. I was in one man show. I was going. I think I've talked about this before, but I was leaving a chair event, and I was doing it at the university when they were in finals week and overnighters that they spend. I was doing chair massages from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. And so by the time I pack up and I'm headed back toward my house, it's around 2 a.m. or something. And down Lafayette Road,
Mm-hmm.
there are long stretches of open fields next to you. And while the roads were clear, it was during the winter and the snowdrifts so I'm coming up and all these different hills and everything, and then I come across these patches where the snowdrifts had come across the road, and it's like a 55-mile road. I wasn't going super fast. I was maybe going 60, somewhere between 60 and 65.
Mm-hmm.
But I came up over a hill and there was a snowdrift, and I just wasn't able to. I think my mistake was trying to slow down before it, and I ended up swerving. So I spun out, did like a full 180 kind of thing, and I just remember as I'm spinning out, I wasn't scared. I was just like, this is so inconvenient.
Oh, yeah, I know this story.
And then I stop, and I'm on the side of the road, backwards the way I was supposed to be, in between two mailboxes. I did miss two mailboxes, so I was pretty happy about that. And I had to spend the next hour and a half digging myself out with my scraper, because I didn't have any kind of snow shovel or anything like that. So that sucked. But again, everything was fine. My car was totally fine. But then when I was younger, my mom's a bus driver, and we were going on some kind of field trip, and I just remember her she had to hit the back of someone else to keep a semi-truck from hitting the back of the bus where all the kids were sitting. So she had to get into an accident to get more room away from this semi-truck. So that was an accident. Technically, I was in. But again, it was a bus. Nothing happened to the bus. A couple scrapes and dents and everything in the front, but like nothing. All the kids were fine, thank God. Then another accident, a bus accident I was in. We had just picked up one kid. I was sitting a few seats back from the back. My brother, however, was in the back seat. And we just picked up this kid. We started moving. I'm talking we maybe moved like 3 or 4 feet away from the bus stop when it felt like we went up on a curb. And I'm talking just like boom, like all of a sudden we're tilted up on this curb. And I look behind me. There's a car underneath the back of the bus, underneath the side where my brother is sitting. Thank God the buses are really strong, and the car was crumpled to nothing. AJ was fine in the back. But yeah, this kid and his friend, they were street racing.
Oh, no.
Came up over a hill. The bus was there, skid marks and everything, but couldn't stop in time. And the front of his car went underneath the bus.
Man.
The back of the bus was right in front of his face. Had we not started pulling away from the bus stop, he would have been smushed. But yeah, he walked away from that with he had some glass in his nose and he twisted his ankle. That was it.
Jeez.
That was it. Then I saw him doing community service at the high school later on.
He's got to make up for what he did.
Yeah, so
Man.
those were. So the fact that I don't think I've ever been in a car accident, but I've been in 2 bus accidents.
Yeah,
What
that's
the heck?
weird. What's that TikTok song that's like, if I had a nickel for every time, I'd have 2. It's weird that it happened twice.
It's not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Yeah.
Nope, that's it.
That's weird.
My mom's bus, actually, also one time, where the bus garage is, you have the garage sitting here, and the bus is parked all the way around it, and then there's a few extra spots more up the hill that the extra buses couldn't fit. My mom had to park up on that far lot, and where that lot was facing the exit ramp, basically, to get out of where the bus garage was. And something with the brake system on the bus, she wasn't in or anything, it was after school hours, but something on her brake system on her bus let out. The bus rolled down the hill, down the driveway of the bus garage, and then across the street and down onto the hill across the street where there were houses. The bus ran through a house.
Oh my god!
So I always tell my mom, I was like, you drove through a house. She's like, I wasn't even in the bus. So yeah, she gets mad at me for that.
What do you even, who's even responsible?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, the school had to pay for it because it was their faulty equipment or whatever.
Right.
But so that was fun.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You look outside, there's a school bus in your house,
In your
and
house.
also there's no one in it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go shower.
All right.
Have fun.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Weird.
I'd have 2 nickels.
Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that's weird that it happened.
Yeah, it is. I feel like there was other times that I
I've
don't
never
know.
been in a bus accident. One time, our bus driver was mad at us because we were talking on the bus, which I guess wasn't allowed, and she slammed on the brakes just to be mean, and my head hit the seat in front of me.
There was a turnaround spot on our bus that had such a huge pothole that when we would hit it, the back of the bus just and we all knew it was coming. We would actually sit up on our feet
And try to jump.
and frog hop it with it, and yeah, we hit our heads on it was great. It was just the time of our lives. And eventually got to the point where our bus driver had to stop turning around there, which we all hated because we were like, this was the best part of our morning and afternoon, was this frog hopping. There was this other time though, our bus driver was just a jerk, just making everyone's life miserable. And I guess everybody was being bad one day or something, and in the turnaround area, he just sat there. And he was like, we're not going anywhere until everybody be quiet.
So stupid.
And we sat there, and we're all sitting there. We're like, we're not doing anything. We're all just kind of talking amongst ourselves, like, what is this guy doing? Like, why is he such a jerk? Blah, 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 blah. One of the high schoolers climbed out the back, the emergency exit. He was like, I'm not sitting here anymore. I'm walking home. He got out. He hopped out, and it was like a whole big shindig and everything. And I'm like, I kind of want to follow him.
Good for
This
him.
is garbage.
Yeah.
This is so stupid. People on power trips and everything are just like,
I know.
please just stay in your lane. Ugh, he was so irritating. And the problem was we all hated him anyway because my mom was the bus driver on that route for years. And of course, when I finally get to middle school, high school and everything, when I was finally going to be able to ride my mom's bus, another one of the drivers who technically had seniority took the route from her.
Oh.
Because they draw for their routes and everything. Seniority gets to choose their routes. And he took it from her. And she straight up said, you are taking a route that was, I have my children. You're taking my children an opportunity. So everybody hated him because everybody loved my mom.
What a jerk.
But he took the route. And I didn't get to be on the bus with my mom. So that was not cool.
So sad.
And then I had my 5th grade teacher. Anytime we would have a field trip, my mom would try to get, obviously, the field trips so she could hang out with me on those field trips.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if my 5th grade teacher knew who my mom was or if it was just a really odd coincidence. But no matter what bus my mom drove, like where she was parked at, when our teacher would take us, the class, to get on the bus, she would always choose a different bus. And, like, the one field trip, we went to the very first bus that was parked there. We were always, like, the first class out. So we went to the first bus. And so I was like, okay, we'll park in the first slot next time. So next field trip, my mom parks in the first slot. We're the first class that goes out. My teacher chooses the second bus.
Aww.
And I'm like, you're doing it on purpose.
She might have been.
So I finally got irritated. I asked another one of the teachers in the grade. I was like, can I please just go back to the school with my mom? And they gave me permission to ride with her and everything. But I had to, like, circumvent my own teacher. She was the worst. I had so many terrible teachers. It was during our silent reading time or whatever, and I was reading some book or whatever. Fun fact, the Statue of Liberty used to be copper. But because of oxidization, it's now green.
Mm-hmm.
And just a fun fact or whatever that I was telling my teacher. I was telling my teacher, who was sitting right across from me, and I was telling her that, and then another student that was sitting right next to her or something missed what I had said and asked me, like, what did you say? And so I just reiterated the same exact fact, but it was during silent reading time. And so I got in trouble, and I had to miss recess because I was talking. I was like, I was talking to you! I was like,
Oh my
what?
God.
Oh my gosh. I had so many terrible teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time I had a horrible teacher in 1st grade, and she had this rule of, like, don't ever ask me something that you can ask, like, because we were set in 2s. So, like, ask your partner, don't ask me, which is stupid, right?
Yeah.
So I went to the bathroom while she said whatever page we're supposed to be reading. So I come back, and I go to the kid next to me, I'm like, what page are we supposed to be on? And he's like, I think it's 33, I don't know. So I raised my hand, I was like, what page are we supposed to be on? And she's like, did you ask your partner? And I was like, yeah, but he didn't know. She got mad at me. And I was really sensitive as a kid, so I was really bothered. And I was like, can I go to the nurse? She was like, no. Get me out of this class. I hate her.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It feels like everywhere I go, though. Is it me? Do I scare people off? Because my 2nd grade teacher, the year after I had her, she retired. She was retired. Like, we got all of her stuff. She was, like, auctioning off all of her stuff to her students because she was leaving that year.
That's fun.
But she left. And then, I just feel like everyone always leaves. My 6th grade teacher, my English teacher, she had to up and leave for some personal reasons or something or other. And then all of my jobs had management switches. Multiple management switches. My very first job at Hallmark had a new manager come in. My job at the pizza place, I had 3 separate managers in the 7 months that I was there. My job at the bookstore, I had 2 separate general managers and 2 separate assistant managers. And I'm like, why is it that everywhere I go, there's, like, people switching out all the time? It feels so constant to me.
It would just be that people are switching out of everything all the time.
Well, then even in school, I mean, like, Jenny was leaving. She was, like,
That's
retiring.
weird.
Kelly Kaminsky was... I shouldn't have said first and last name. Sorry.
Oh.
I don't know why I did that.
You want to drop middle, too?
Sorry. But Kelly was leaving for her sabbatical. Sabbatical? What's a sabbatical?
Sabbatical?
Thank you. Just everywhere I go, people are just, like, leaving.
I don't know.
Sometimes it's okay, but other times it's sad. I don't know. I was just thinking about that. That's kind of weird. Anywho. I
Weird.
gotta stop saying that.
Any hootie?
Anywho. I actually had a couple, nope, not that one. They're not important at all.
Okay, let's do it.
First and foremost, Keira Knightley was in Star Wars. Didn't know that.
I feel like I knew that for some reason.
I thought it was Natalie Portman playing both parts. They look so alike. I had no idea it was Keira Knightley
Interesting.
in The Phantom Menace.
Never
Um,
seen.
You've never seen Star Wars?
I sat through one. Don't know which. Didn't pay attention.
Okay.
Didn't like it.
No?
Pretty corny.
Bummer. I love it.
Chewbacca. I just remember Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And I remember them like shooting and the lasers like pew pew.
I love that so much. I love it. I love Star Wars so much. But yeah, Keira Knightley was in it. Didn't know that till just recently. Kind of blew my mind. I really thought it was Natalie Portman just playing both parts. They look so much alike that apparently even their mothers had a hard time telling them apart sometimes. So yeah, that was one note that I had. And then also, Jake Gensel. That was sad. Jake Gensel got traded from the Pens to the Carolina Hurricanes. And they just played the other night, and they had like a whole little tribute and everything to Jake's time in the Pens. But it hurt. I was like, he was with the Pens for long enough, and I'm like, you created a life. You started a life here. You had, you found your wife, and you had a kid here, and like, and now you're gone. And I'm like, I hope you come back because I don't like this.
That hurts.
That hurts.
Yeah.
I know that being traded is part of the business. It's part of the game and everything, but no. No.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to uproot my life. And that just seems so crazy to me when you really get into the rhythm of one. And I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like trading. And that's why I try not to get attached to specific players.
That's hard.
Because then they go to a team that I don't like. Even though I kind of do like the Hurricanes, but whatever. But yeah, those are the two notes that I had. You have anything fun during the
Probably not. I feel like I always have a ton of stuff to say, and then we start, and then I don't remember what it is. I
Good.
should write it down. I have no clue.
I love that.
Yesterday, in my crazy class, that I pay for, for my bachelor's,
Yeah.
we taste tested chocolate chip cookies and had to rank them.
What a hardship.
Okay, honestly, I don't think I can have another cookie ever again. Thinking about
How many
cookies.
did you have?
8?
Did you eat the whole cookie?
No.
You gotta just take one bite of each.
I took like a fourth of like the little ones,
Yeah.
little crumbs. Some
Like
of them I
home-
didn't even have
A
because
homemade?
no, all store bought.
Ew.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Okay. No, I don't like that.
I didn't like it either. I'm not sure that I even like chocolate chip cookies anymore because I rated them all really bad, except for one,
Well, store-bought ones are just...
really bad.
Yeah. Wegmans has it okay.
Yeah, but it's like in between store bought and homemade
Yeah.
because it's like at it's like there's a bakery in there.
Yeah. They're homemade in the store.
Store made. Store made.
Yeah.
In store made.
Instead of factory made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honey Baked Ham in Ohio has their chocolate chip cookies are so stinking good. And I asked them, I was like, I need your recipe. They're like, we just buy them frozen. I'm like, what? They're so good. They're so good.
I can't even think about them anymore.
No.
Ugh, some of them were so bad.
Oh my gosh, I love Honey Baked Ham.
We're having an Easter ham. You have any
Yeah.
plans for Easter?
My family is, because we're all scattered to the wind, me, my aunt, uncle, and maybe my pseudo aunt, uncle, their kids, whatever. I think we're just going to do like an Easter buffet somewhere. We're
Nice.
just going to go out for it. But then we're going to do our more family-centered home Easter the next week after everyone is done being scattered.
I feel like you've been celebrating Easter for like 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
Because when you went to Ohio, you celebrated Easter.
Yeah.
This weekend is actually Easter, and the next weekend you're also doing Easter.
Yeah. Yeah. It's...
Wow.
I'm fine with that. I love Easter, so I'm
Do you like
totally
my
fine with it.
garland?
I've been staring at it.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
I made it this
Cute.
year, the other day. We
Cute.
didn't have a garland, and we normally have a garland up.
Very cute.
Yeah, I like it.
They're little cutout bunnies with pom-pom tails.
Yeah. I'm just now realizing that there's 2 pink ones in a row. I gotta change that.
Horrendous.
That's
Failure.
Too bad. I don't know how that happened. How did that happen?
Good job.
How did I not notice?
I don't know.
I'll fix it.
I'm gonna switch gears a little bit.
Here we
because we're
go.
talking about that. But I am really super pumped about Easter, especially this year, considering the fact that I have totally revamped my way of thinking, because we're doing communion on Sunday, and now I have a little bit better idea of really what it means and how important it really is, because the last few years, and I say few years, I mean the last decade, I haven't been taking it seriously, and that is a huge problem for me. So yeah, with this episode will be coming out the week after Easter. So I hope everyone did have a very nice Easter, even though I'm having yet another Easter coming up.
I don't like Easter.
Why?
Uh,
No? Not a fan?
uh.
Why?
I don't like Sunday,
Just in general?
just in general.
It's like your Monday.
Well, it comes before Monday, which is almost as bad. Sunday
Okay.
scaries. And I don't like the colors, really. I don't like the vibes.
I think you're vibing with the wrong things then.
I don't love it.
Uh,
I just feel like when I think about Easter, I think about being a kid and being forced to like put on a stupid outfit on that is uncomfortable. I have to go to church and then I have to see my family and I don't want to, and like, yeah. That's what I think of.
oh dear.
So I don't like it.
Then you probably won't like what I have to say right now.
No, that's okay. You can like Easter.
Huh?
You can like Easter.
Oh, well, my talk is not really specifically about Easter or anything, even though I do love Easter. And I hope everyone kind of had a chance to take in the true meaning of Easter, which is that Jesus was willing to die for us and to give us life through him. And I think that's just absolutely incredible. I have a hard time reading about the crucifixion just because of how horribly he was treated, even though he's perfect and he's just the personification of love. And the fact that they could treat him so terribly. And even so, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They didn't recognize who was actually in their midst. They didn't recognize that what he was there for, what he was, trying to do for them. And he was willing to die for these people who were quite literally spitting on him and mocking him. And he loved them anyway. And he loved them enough to die for them so that we might continue to have life. And I think that's totally incredible. But no, what I actually was thinking about throughout this week was that, like I said a little bit last week, is that, before my Bible studies, I try to pray about whatever it is that I'm struggling with that week and whatever's been on my heart. And a lot of times that as soon as I do start reading my Bible, the answer is right there, whatever it is. And that's just how incredible God works. He's just like, anything that you're struggling with, he will provide the answer for you. If you really just kind of give yourself over to his word and to hear his voice. And that happened a lot this week with multiple confirmations and reaffirmations, especially even last night at church, just multiple things kind of just focusing in on this thing that I've been struggling with. And that's really keeping my focus on God and keeping my love for him and that fire burning for him. Because as I turned my life back to God after a whole decade of turning my back on him, and when I first did that, I was like really on fire for him. I was really excited. And it still is, but it's all I wanted to talk about. It's just, I wanted to live every moment in that. But with everything going on in my life, I just felt like I was getting really distracted and just really, like I said, struggling with keeping my focus on him, and a lot of distractions getting in my way. And I couldn't figure out exactly what it was and like why I was starting to feel so numb toward everything. And then I had to kind of reevaluate my life and see what was going on. And it sounds so stupid, but one of the main distractions in my life at the moment is actually all my fan fiction. And I've talked about it multiple times. Everyone knows how much I love my fan fiction because it's an escape and a comfort. And fan fiction basically is, everybody has your comfort movies, television shows, video games, books, whatever it is. Everybody has that something that they find comfort and relatability and things that they just really connect with. And everybody wants that feeling of being understood. And so you find comfort in those things, and so you revisit them over and over again. And for me, I had a couple of book series that I really, really loved. I connected with the characters a lot, and so I took it one step farther, and I started reading all the different kind of fan fictions,
which is people just taking their love of whatever it is and taking it one step further, creating their stories that fit perfectly with their lives. And then if you look at all the tags, you can find something that fits you to an absolute T. And that's what I was doing. I was finding things that fit my life, fit my personality, fit what was going on in my life. And I was finding like comfort through all these things. And it got to a point where I was waking up and reading it, going to bed and reading it. Every moment that I had that was free, I was spending reading fan fiction. And it gave me a really false sense of comfort, and a false sense of feeling understood. And it became a total obsession and addiction. And the problem is that it superseded my time with the Lord. It got in the way. I would wake up in the morning and I would start reading fan fiction, and it would take up my time, and I wouldn't have enough time to do my Bible study, and I felt like I was rushing through that, or I would have to put it off till later because I was just busy reading fan fiction. And so when it started taking time away from reading the Bible and talking with Jesus, and even at work, when my clients are quiet, that's a really awesome time for me to just hang out and talk with Jesus. But instead, there I am just thinking about my stupid stories and all these fake characters and these plots that just, they're not rooted in anything real. And so I was like really wasting my time with that. And I just want to make it clear that it's like when you turn your life to Jesus, it doesn't mean that you have to give up everything that you enjoy in life. It's rather that your priorities do start to change. And the things that you once enjoyed, you recognize that while they are fun, they're not rooted in anything meaningful or lasting. The only thing that is truly, genuinely beautiful and long-lasting and just the most incredible thing you can ever have is a relationship with Jesus. And that's where your focus needs to be number one. So when other things start to supersede that, when other things in life take the number one priority, that's when it becomes a problem. And so for me, fan fiction was becoming my number one priority rather than spending time with Jesus. And that was the biggest problem. Because I don't want my life to be rooted in things that are meaningless, that things that aren't actually going to bring me joy and true lasting comfort. Because that's why I was like reading so much, because I needed more and more to find the same amount of comfort. When if I really wanted comfort and peace, all I had to do was talk with Jesus, rather than a false sense of illusionary peace and comfort in just nonsense. And so even though I'm not, Catholic, I don't participate in Lent specifically, I did have to kind of step away from my fan fiction. And it's been hard. I found one last night, even. That sounds really good. But I really just have to reprioritize, and I have to set aside the things of the world, because only Jesus really brings true everlasting joy. Because happiness is just a fleeting emotion. It's just a temporary, quick emotion. But true joy comes through a relationship with Jesus. And during my readings this week, it's very reminiscent of Jesus calling Matthew to follow him. And it's in Luke chapter 5, verse 27 through 28. And this is after Jesus is going around, he's performing miracles, and right after he heals the leper and the paralytic man. In chapter 5, it says that after this, Jesus went out and saw a tax collector named Levi, who was Matthew, sitting at the tax office. He said, "Follow me," and Matthew left everything and followed him. And that is what I want to do. I want to do that. I want to be willing to do that so badly. Because Matthew, he had wealth, he had status, he had power, he had protection, and all coming through his job. He actually worked for the Romans. The Romans were occupying that land at the time. And so his life was made. He had it absolutely made. And yet he was considered a sinner and a traitor against his own people because he was working for the Romans. And even though he had all this wealth and status, power, and protection, he gave that all up without hesitation to follow Jesus, because he recognized that Jesus was what really mattered. And Jesus was the true wealth that you can have in life. The true joy, the true everlasting peace and comfort and rest only comes through joy. No matter what nonsense stuff you could have all the stuff in the world and it never will compare to what you could have through a relationship with Jesus. And that's the thing. It's just,
you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. That the whole point of having a relationship with Jesus is that it's a want and a willingness. It's not something that the Lord wants out of obligation or out of habit. And that's why a lot of things through religion, I don't mesh with religion, because it becomes habitual rather than a true want and a willingness. And so you don't have to give up anything that you don't want to. I'm not giving up fan fiction because I have to, but because I want to, because I recognize that it's standing in the way of my relationship with Jesus. And I don't want that. I want Jesus more than I want the fickle things of life. And so I need to step away from kind of the obsessions and the things, the worldly things that are getting in my way. And again, as I've said, to emphasize, it's a want and a willingness, not an obligation. And that is also reminiscent of the Jewish custom, goodness gracious, of circumcision, and which is a tradition that actually started with the Israelites during the Exodus, and it was an outward sign of an inward act. I was reading in Deuteronomy chapter 10 this morning, and a note in my study Bible mentions that circumcision is used metaphorically to stress the need to cut away any affections that would interrupt complete obedience to the Lord. Circumcision of the heart would not be an outward sign, but an inward attitude that would manifest itself outwardly in the actions of the people. A circumcised heart is open and responsive to the commands of the Lord. And so basically, it's a whole big harsh way of saying that anything that's going to stand between you and the Lord, you got to cut that away. You got to get rid of that. And the tradition of circumcision is just that outward sign that, you know, the Israelites are a separate people. They didn't live the way of the world. And so circumcision was that outward sign that they were living not for themselves, but for the Lord. But it's really important that it's done willingly and obediently out of love for the Lord, not just because it's what you have to do. Because it also mentions in Romans chapter 2, verse 25 through 29, that, and I won't read the whole thing, but just basically summing up that if you're circumcised, but you're not living the life that the Lord wants you to live out of love for Him, then it's basically like you're not circumcised at all. You can claim to be a Christian but if you're not living a Christian life, then your words are meaningless. Your acts are meaningless without that true love and obedience to the Lord. And so, like I said, Romans chapter 2 is basically, you know, circumcised doesn't mean in heart. So you have to be willing to do that through heart, because it's a spiritual thing, not a literal thing, even though they did manifest it literally as well. But all of this to basically say that you are absolutely allowed to enjoy things. And the Lord wants you to enjoy life. And he wants you to have wonderful things, but all of those wonderful things are going to come through the blessings of the Lord. And as long as your love for Him is first and foremost, then you're going to have true joy and peace and rest in Him. And everything kind of falls into place after that. And you're able to enjoy things more thoroughly because you have a true sense of joy that comes from knowing the Lord. And it's just so incredible because He loves us so much. And like I said, He gave His very life for us. He died for us. And so in that, I want to give Him everything in return. I want to be willing to give up everything that I have for Him because I love Him enough to do that, because He loves me enough to do that. And He is so worth giving everything up for. And I do want to be like Matthew, willing to drop everything to follow Him. Because the things of this world just simply do not matter and they're just incomparable to what the Lord is wanting to provide, as long as we just open our hearts to Him and actually want to follow Him. And that's just some of the stuff that's just really been on my heart this week. There was so much more, and it's just one thing after another just to confirm and reaffirm this and everything. But I'll just kind of sum it up in saying that, you know, true joy and peace and rest comes through the Lord. You can have all the stuff in the world, but nothing compares to actually having Jesus in your life. And I said it last week, I'll say it again. He is the best friend you could ever have. And I kick myself the thought of abandoning my friendship for the past decade. But I definitely want to get back to it. I'm screwing up a whole lot. Like I said, I've already kind of caved a little bit to my obsession. But that's the nice thing, is he welcomes you back with open arms, even if you mess it up. As long as we have an open and willing heart to go back to Him, he will welcome us always. He's just really cool. So just wanted to end off on that. So Happy Easter, everybody. Hope you had a good one.
Happy Easter.
Okay. I didn't have a whole lot else, like I said, my notes, I had 2 things in my notes. Keira Knightley and Jake Gensel. That was it for the week. So, yeah.
I think we can wrap up.
I think we're good. Yeah. Good timing, I guess. Yeah.
Talk at you next week.
Talk at you next week.
Bye.